Hey everybody, this is Allison and welcome back to the 4knitsakes podcast. This is now my fourth try to record this podcast. I've just had a lot of technical malfunctions. Our computers and laptops are getting old. My phone went a little haywire. So I'm hoping this can be the last time that I try to record today. But I'm also trying to figure out lighting. Our computer, the only one that won't freeze on me is in our bedroom, and there's only one light. And so I'm going to have the shadow on this side, but I'm going to try really hard to show yarns the best I can. This is a knitting, crochet, fiber, sometimes sewing a little bit podcast. I try to keep them very short and simple, 30 minutes or less, just to show you guys what I'm doing. If you didn't watch my last episode, which was my first one, I gave myself the challenge to knit solely from my stash for at least 6 months, and I'm actually considering pushing it to a year, except maybe to do something like I need to knit the boys' stockings for Christmas and gifts and everything. But I'm trying really hard to pick projects that I have the yarn for already. And my stash isn't huge by any means. I have 6 bins. I'm looking over at them now with yarn, and I have tons of things that I can do. It's just going to be a matter of, do I want to do the projects that I pick? Sure, I could knit on the super bulky yarn that I have, but do I want to is the problem. I'm only a month in, and so far not so hard, but I have a feeling it's going to get a little bit more difficult as the year goes on, but I wanted to chronicle it so friends that I moved away from in the last couple months can keep track of me, and any new viewers that are wanting to get into crafting but maybe feel that they don't want to have this huge stash or anything like that. Just because I've gotten into minimalism, I like to be very mindful of what I buy before I buy it. Do I need it, or do I just want it? Am I buying it for this reason or buying it for that reason? So that's kind of where it kind of stemmed from, and so far I'm enjoying it. I'm being very, not picky, mindful again of what I choose to knit, and it's been fun so far. Like I said, 1 month in, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe one day I can do like a quick stash video. It's not very big, 6 bins, and that's it. And they're like the small little fabric bins that you can just buy at Target. And so they're all kind of full. They're not stuffed. They're not like overflowing or anything, but they're all pretty full. And I'll just work through what I can. I'm trying to buy or get patterns that are free versus buying them. And then we'll just kind of see how it goes. So let's just go ahead and jump into finished objects. And the first one I have is this one right here. It's the Walk in the Woods shawl by Lisa Hans. I tied it underneath, so that's why I can't get it off. Very simple slip stitch pattern. It has a chart and written directions if you are one that you can't follow both, or if there's one that you prefer over the other. It starts out with the stockinette pattern with these purl ridges here. I'm trying to get the light. Like I said, I only have one window. It's perfectly sunny in El Paso. That's not an issue. And then you do the slip stitch pattern here, and you end with a little garter ridge before you bind off. I did 2 repeats plus 10 extra rows. I could have made it a lot bigger. I actually have a lot left over of this. I'm trying to use my leftover larger yarn to do hats and stuff for NICUs at hospitals, or making things for retirement homes and stuff like that. But a very plain, easy, well, not easy, not mindless, but relatively easy as soon as you kind of figure out the pattern of where your slip stitches go. And as soon as I got the hang of that, it kind of flew off the needles. Super easy, and I like it a lot. It's a cotton linen blend here by Rowan, and then this is a cotton silk blend by, that's my husband, by Misty Alpaca. He just came back from his run. So it's really, I can't say enough how much I really like this pattern. I might actually make another one if I can find the yarn to do it. The next one is a half finished object. I signed up for a test knit for Katalin Beth Design. She is out of Australia. She's on Ravelry. I'll put all the information down below. And she's starting a toe up challenge starting February the 8th. And I signed up to do it because it involved a little bit of stranded color work and an afterthought heel, and it's all toe up. She has videos. They're very easy to understand. The pattern's written really well. The charts are really easy for the stranded color work pattern. But I did one, and I still have to finish the other. Toe up down here. The toe was really easy to do. The stranded color work was just, I think, a 13 row chart, so row 1 through 13 here. Super easy to understand. And you did some stripes. And then you put in your afterthought heel, all which is explained really well in the pattern. And then you do the color work section again up here. And then you do your cuff. She has a video for a stretchy bind off. I unfortunately have to do my afterthought heel again. As you can see, my coral stitches did not show, but since it's an afterthought heel, it makes it super easy to rip it out and do it all over again. I just haven't had the chance to do it. I've had sick kiddos this week, and it's been hard to peel them off my body during the day. Man, I can't get the lighting the way I want it. That's okay. I'm sure you guys don't mind. But the coral is some yarn I actually found in a pack at a German store called Kik, K-I-K. And I have 3 balls of this, 100-gram balls. And I plan to do a shawl with it, but I just didn't get the opportunity to do it yet. So I figured I can probably get a good pair of socks out of it. She said 50 grams of each color to do a pair of socks. So it doesn't take up a whole lot of what I have in my stash, and I can probably still do the shawl that I want to do with it. And then the blue is this blue that is in my friend's sockhead hat, which I'll show next. It's just Knit Pick Stroll that I picked up a bunch of the 50-gram balls when they were doing their holiday sales. So if you want to sign up for this, the Toe Up Challenge starts February 8th. That is Wednesday? Yes. And you can get more information from her Ravelry or her Instagram. So it's the Mariner Toe Up Sock Pattern by Katalin Beth Designs. Okay, the next one is the sockhead hat that I showed last time for my friend Mallory. I think I had only gotten to like just above where the stripes were. So I did a knit 3, purl 1 ribbing for the bottom, then did a couple stripes here. I did them close together every other row and then every 2 rows here, and then just knit, 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 knit. I'm trying to see. That's a better representation of the color. It's Piraten Vol again. I don't remember what number it is. I think it's in my projects page on Ravelry. And then this is just the same from the sock that I just showed, Knit Pick Stroll. I need to send it in the mail, but I'm really bad about getting to the post office, and I'm really sorry, Shannon, if you're watching this. It's going to go in the mail on the same day as this one. It'll get there, I promise. And then I think this is my last. No, I had 2 more finished objects. One, plain and simple, just the dishcloth. Granny's favorite dishcloth. You can find it free if you just Google it. I have so much of this yarn that I need to use. I ordered a cone of it while we were living in Germany with plans to make all these dishcloths to go into our kitchen, and then never did it. So now I'm doing it since I need to knit for my stash. So I did this one, and I have another one on the needles that I'll talk about in works in progress. One more finished object. Some might not consider this a finished object because I haven't blocked it or I haven't soaked it or anything. It's a cotton nylon blend yarn, but it's off the needles. I just have to weave in ends and add some buttons. But it's the Linen Violets Cowl free pattern on Ravelry. I've been wanting to knit it for a while, and then I finally got it. I found this really pretty yarn at a German store that was closing about 45 minutes from where I lived, and I stocked up on yarn when it was 50% off and 70% off. I just kind of bought a bunch of stuff without a plan to make certain things, which I can't do now, obviously. But now I am, I still have a ball left of this, but it reminded me of koi ponds and a little bit of mermaids, and I really, really like it. I just need to find the buttons to do it. So I just wanted to make sure I was facing the right way. It's not very big, but it's meant to be a cowl, so I'm just used to knitting shawls. So it's going to go here, and then you can connect all the buttons together. It's just a 12-row repeat with yarn overs and knit 2 togethers and double decreases here to create that chevron look. But it was really easy. It was one of those where like rows 1, 5, 9 were the same, and 3, 7, and 11 were the same. So you just had to make sure you were on the right odd number, and then all the evens were the same. You just purled back to start. But really plain and simple. I think I finished it in just a couple days. If you want more information on it, my project page on Ravelry is updated pretty frequently. I'm good about adding pictures and keeping the dates and everything, whatever I'm using to knit with. So you can go check out that and any other previous projects that I've done. So those are all of my finished objects, and we'll jump into works in progress. The lighting's really bothering me that I have the shadow on this side. I'm gonna figure this out. But let's do socks first. As the grocery girls would say, it's sock talk. So this is a pair of socks for my husband, knit from Piraten Wool. I don't know the number. Let's see. Maybe it might focus. It's a little blurry. But greens, purples, cream, mainly greens and blues. But I'm doing just some blueberry waffle socks on my DPNs from Knit Picks in the big set of sock needles that you can get in the blueberry waffle pattern. I wish it would. There we go. Maybe not. In the blueberry waffle pattern. So I did my cuff and then switched to the blueberry waffle pattern. I think I did 10 repeats of the blueberry waffles. I just did a plain short row heel. Shows the colors a little bit better than in the blueberry waffle pattern. I wanted to give my DPNs another shot. I have this whole set of sock DPNs, the wooden ones in the Caspian colorway. So the blue rainbow with the blues and greens and stuff. It actually matches the yarn really well. So I just have to finish these for my husband. I think these are size zeros. I forget. Zeros are kind of like my go-to. I thought ones were, but then they were fitting a little bit loose, so then I switched to my zeros. Here we go. I wear a lot of the same colors. So that's for my husband. He wants to me to knit him socks. I knit him a pair, and he still hasn't worn them. I can hear him listening in the background. And then these are some rainbow socks for my 5-year-old. This is Knit Picks Chroma fingering weight on my Hiya Sharp size, US size 1s. I'm not a fan of the Hiya cords. They twist, they turn. I feel like they're not very, I don't like it when they do this. My Chow Goose sit nice and flat. I wish my Hiya Sharps did the same because I like the needles. I just don't like the cords. I'm doing these 2 at a time, cuff down, in the Pebble pattern by Mina Philipp. I bought the whole Beyond Vanilla Socks pattern set with Pebble and Driftwood and all this other stuff. I think Gravel's another one. I decided I was going to knit through all of them because we live in Texas and there's lots of dirt and rocks, pebbles, etc. living here. And I wish I was a little bit farther, but I feel like with 2 at a time socks, I'm moving a little bit slower because I'm fiddling with yarn. I forgot to pull my button out. I'm still trying to mess with this and it's stuck. There it is. I forgot to do the button trick, which I learned from Chelsea off of Legacy Fiber Arts podcast, who got it from Connie. It's Connie Knits on Instagram. But I'm pulling from the outside and the inside of the ball. But I forgot my button. What the button does is you take a button and you thread one strand through each separate hole. And then it's really easy. I just take the button and I pull it down, and then it's really easy to unspin your work. So I'm not having to worry so much about it turning the correct way whenever I'm switching socks or I'm switching to the other side. And I just did another short row heel on these. Plain and simple. I really probably should expand my heels. I really want the sock architecture book. I can never find it at the library, so I think I'm just going to have to suck it up and buy it. But the short row heel is just really plain and simple for me, and it fits pretty well for my foot as well as my son's. I've already made him a pair of socks before. But these are on US size 1s, 56 stitches, and hopefully I can get these done. He says he likes this one better because I think it has more colors in it. This one hasn't changed back because it went back to purple. So hopefully by the time I get to the toe, there'll be some yellow and some red or some orange on it. And those are in my really pretty yarn bowl that my husband got for me for Christmas. Got it off Etsy. It's really getting blown up, but cream with like aqua colors, and then the curve here. Unfortunately, when we moved, it was in my luggage and it broke like all the way through here, but I was able to glue it back together. You can't really tell from super far away. You can kind of see the crack here a little bit, but it's going to be nice and safe on my yarn table, so then I'm not having to worry about it breaking.
Better be.
My husband's in the background. He was really upset when it broke. We hadn't even gotten through security, and I put my luggage on the my carry-on on the belt to be x-rayed, and I heard the clinking on the inside. I was so upset because I hadn't even gotten to use it yet. But I'm really glad I was able to glue it back together. Next work in progress is a dishcloth. This is just a really plain and simple 4-row repeat pattern, free off Knit Picks. It's a like slip stitch something dishcloth. They have so many free patterns on the website. I just go through and I find one that's easy to memorize that I can just kind of toss this. This will probably end up going in my my car. So if I'm ever stuck in the car, like if my youngest falls asleep or if we happen to be traveling somewhere, then it can just be in the car to work on. This is one of 3 cakes that I have of that cone of yarn that I need to work my way through. So, and they're just on my size 8 straights from my grandmother. She passed away. It'll be 2 years ago this summer. And so I pull out her straight needles sometimes. She had like size 5s and 8s and 10s, I think. So now I just pull it out to work on my dishcloths because they're plain and simple. And then I have the ones that I really like to work on other projects. I think my last work in progress is just a plain corner to corner blanket for my niece. It's done out of some, there's such a theme today, blues, greens, and purple. This is just some Karen Simply Soft paints that I got as a gift last summer while my son was in the hospital. I'm using it to knit a blanket for my niece, plain corner to corner, where you just knit 3, yarn over, knit all the way across until you get to the width that you want, and then you start decreasing. It's the same concept as the dishcloth, except this is knit 2, yarn over, knit to the end. So hopefully I can finish this sometime soon while it's still cool outside. She lives in North Carolina, so they'll be colder a little bit longer than it is here in El Paso. Those are all my Knit Picks interchangeable needles, which I bought first and I loved them, but now that I've owned them, it's hard to tell because the blanket's kind of pulling a little bit, but you can see like the cord doesn't sit flat because they're curled up in the packaging. I found that they hold the curl, and so it makes it difficult for it to straighten out. I did my linen violets cowl on a short cable from the set, and it drove me nuts because it was like curly cued while I was trying to knit across. Hopefully, I bought a set of Chiaohus last year as a gift to myself, and I wish I had bought it with the larger needles because I only bought the small needle set that goes from size 2 to size 8, and now I have to pull out my Knit Pick set whenever I use larger than size 8s, and those are on 9s. But I'll get it done, and it'll be okay. I'm trying not to buy any more needles. I'm a monogamous knitter, as if the needles aren't available, then I don't start the project until the needles become available. So I have to finish an object, and I'm not even one that I'll take off the tips and switch to a new project. I have to have the needles and the cords available. It helps me not have too many projects. This is actually a lot of projects for me. I usually have a lot less going on, but some projects just need to be finished, and they all require different ones. I pulled my DPNs out just because I wanted to use them, and I needed zeros. I only have a really cheap circular pair of zeros. I might eventually buy some Chiaohu size zeros. I don't know yet. So now it's time for some dream knitting. I was looking through and trying to plan my projects. My queue has a few things up there with yarn in my stash that I've already planned out and tried to put an order of when I want to do them. But I was looking through my library as well, and everybody in the knitting world seems to be doing the Find Your Fade shawl. And I really would love to do it, but I didn't want to have to buy a new pattern when I had a bunch of Stephen West patterns and Joji Locatelli patterns saved up in my library for ones that I wanted to do. And I saw that I had the Starburst shawl, and I remember seeing it on Instagram and saying, I have to do that. I loved doing the exploration station. It was really, I wouldn't say easy, but the brioche was like the hardest part, I think, in the thing. And I remember I stopped the project for a full month, and I put it down and I put it away just because I was too scared of brioche. And then as soon as I did it, I was like, man, I should have picked this up sooner. It really wasn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be. So with the Starburst shawl, it is separated into wedges, very similar to a lot of the shawls that that I've liked in the past. So I have a bunch of Piraten wool, and then I picked up a bunch of these Knit Picks 50-gram balls when they were doing their holiday sale, and I had planned on doing them for cuffs, heels, and toes for socks. But in the pattern, maybe I should find it on my phone really quick. The pattern has these strips of color that separate the wedges. And I wanted to separate, I found this Piraten wool yarn that I had planned on doing with, or planned on making socks with. And I never cast them on. I caked it up, and I can show you really quick. It has all these really pretty oranges, blues on this gray background, or gray base. And I actually had all of these Knit Picks brights, surprisingly, that I ordered to make for the heels, cuffs, and toes. Heels, tufts, and coats. That's not correct. So, clicked on the wrong one. There we go. So I wanted to use all of these different colors to separate the wedges. That's the pattern. That's the small one. I only have enough yarn to do the small pattern. It's a little blurry, sorry, it won't focus. But if you just look up the Starburst pattern on Ravelry. So this was going to be the main color, which was similar to the variegated that they had. And then I picked up all of these brights and one glimmer. So it has the stellina in it. Let's do it this way. So that green is pickle juice. The purple is vibrant violet. This is electric blue, I think. And then the glimmer with the stellina is Fiji. And so I was going to use those colors to separate the wedges of this. I kind of really wish I had this orange color, but I did not order any orange, unfortunately. And then that bottom that was the blue color on there, I was going to do this. Another Piraten wool. You can see what their yarn band looks like. I think this is color 559. Yes. I haven't caked it up yet, so I might end up changing my mind. But I thought that the purples and the pinks matched really well with what was in here. And it'd be a really fun shawl to wear with my plain colored t-shirts and jeans, my uniform as my husband would call it. He's laughing because he knows he says it. So I'm really hoping that all of this works out. I'm thinking I might use one of these colors to do, like, there's like a cabled band that you pick up at the last part of the pattern. But I'm just I'm gonna wing it. I'm really hoping it works out. I'm hoping to cast this on sometime soon. My printer ran out of ink, so I can't print it until we have more ink. Or I can maybe bug one of my friends to print it for me. But I have it all planned, so that's my dream knitting. I have some other projects planned for Joji Locatelli's Girl at the Grocery Store, and maybe a party on my needle shawl. And then there's always going to be socks. I think I'm going to participate in the stripy sock Cowl with Pin Feathers and Pearls podcast, because I bought a bunch of Regia sock yarn before we left Germany. And they are all self-striping yarns, and I have about 5, maybe 4 balls of it left that I have to do. So that'll be some dream knitting too, but socks are always going to be on the needles just because they're really plain and simple to do. And mindless. I usually do vanilla socks, and I might just pull up one of Mina Philipp's Beyond Vanilla sock patterns to finish. So, oh yay, my computer didn't freeze, which means on my 4th try, I'm finally finished filming this podcast. So thank you so much for joining me. And if you like it, subscribe, give me a thumbs up if you do. I'm really glad you guys stopped by to come say hi and to see what I was doing. And feel free to comment and find me on Ravelry and Instagram. And I hope you guys have a great February. Bye.